For more discussion and analysis, I would like to welcome from London Dr. Marcos Papadopoulos, an international relations expert specializing in the Middle East affairs. After greetings, Dr. Marcos, I'd like to ask you about this careful optimism about the possibility to secure a deal soon between Iran and the US. What is your reading for if this will be successful, when this will not be complicated as the last moment?
It will be a very complicated process, as I have said time and time again on television channels such as Qahera News, because on behalf of Iran, the Iranians will be very cautious about entering into any kind of agreement with America when America has blatantly and brutally demonstrated that it is prepared to break all agreements that it signs with countries around the world. And at the same time, on behalf of America, well, America does not have a free hand in this process. Why? Because the Trump administration is beholden, is controlled by the Israelis. So, for example, very recently, Trump said that that the war in Lebanon will come to an end. Israel said no, and Trump backtracked. The war in Lebanon continues. And Iran, when it comes to Lebanon, will, in my opinion, be unlikely to sign any agreement with America whilst Israel continues to prosecute war against the people of Lebanon. So, in short, any agreement between America and Israel will take time, will be very complicated. And the main question is this: can an agreement last between Washington and Tehran? Not because Tehran is likely to break it, but because Washington has a long history of breaking agreements, and more importantly, the Trump administration is controlled by the Israelis.
Yes, the American foreign minister during his visit to India has mentioned that US will give all the chances of diplomacy and all the possible chances to Tehran. And here the question related to the economic crisis because of this war, the inflation, economic pressure, and the midterm election approaches. How all of these reasons might be a motivation to pressure the American administration as an attempt to support the diplomatic path and avoid escalation.
Well, of course, it is clear that the American people, by and large, oppose the war against Iran, and they oppose it for a number of reasons. One of the main reasons being how the war has resulted in the cost of living increasing in America. So, for example, when it comes to the price of petrol, that is a major problem for American households. So the Trump administration has to be, or should be, very aware of that. And that should be a reason as to why the Trump administration should bring the war with Iran to an end. However, I can only reiterate, because the Trump administration, because Trump himself is controlled by the Israelis, the Americans do not have a free hand in negotiations with the Iranians. After all, Trump took America to war with Iran because of the Israelis, because of the Israeli pressure on him. Why else would Trump have gone to war with the people of Iran when there was no threat, no credible threat, no imminent threat posed to the American people by the Iranian government? So when you consider that Trump took America to war with Iran because he's controlled by the Israelis, that does not bode well in the context of America securing a peace treaty with Iran. But as I said moments ago, even if a peace treaty is secured, what's to say that in 6 months' time or in a year from now, America won't go to war with Iran once more because of Israeli pressure. That is a very serious situation, and that affects not just Iran, but that affects many countries in the world when you have a superpower, namely America, controlled by a foreign government and told what to do by a foreign government, even going to war on behalf of a foreign government. That is quite simply petrifying.
We are still speaking about the foreign minister's statement when he was answering the question of the journalist in New Delhi. He said that Israel always has the right to defend itself if Hezbollah will launch missiles against Israel. So Israel have all the right to defend themselves. How do you read this statement, in particular that Iran has asked more than one time that this is very important to have Lebanon included in the agreement and to have Hezbollah included in the agreement? And from this, we could understand that they will not abandon Lebanon outside of the agreement, that they will not allow Israel to do what they want to do in Lebanon.
I would urge your audience to pay no significance to any word which comes from the British government. After all, the British government is pro-Zionist. You cannot become Prime Minister or Defence Secretary or Foreign Secretary in Britain unless you are a Zionist. It follows, therefore, that the Prime Minister or the Defence Secretary or the Foreign Secretary of the United Kingdom will support Israel and will support Israel wholeheartedly, even when Israel is committing genocide in Gaza, when Israel is committing horrific crimes against humanity in Lebanon and in Iran. So again, no importance should be attached to anything the British government has to say when it concerns Israel, or indeed when it concerns any aspect of international relations. The reality is that Iran is an independent, sovereign country. The Iranian people have a right to have the system in place in their country which they support. And this war has demonstrated just how much support the Iranian government and the Iranian system enjoy from the Iranian people. As regards to this idea that Israel has a right to self-defense, or every country.
Thank you so much, Dr. Marcos Papadopoulos, the expert on international relations specialized in the Iranian affairs and Middle East. Thank you so much, sir.